How to leverage social media to attract the press. This is On Cam Ready. I'm Jamie Maglietta. On this episode, 10 ways you can adjust your social media accounts before you pitch so that when TV producers or journalists look you up, you shine on social. Guys, I am a TV news veteran, and anytime someone would pitch me, if I thought their idea was great, I looked them up online. If they lacked a social media presence, weren't engaging online, didn't have any on camera clips, it made it hard for me to sell them to be a television news guest. So think ahead before you send that pitch. Let's get right into the tips. Here are 10 tips to help you leverage your social media content to attract the media. Tip number 1, build a presence online. If you don't already have social media accounts, now's your chance. Get them. If your audience is on Twitter, you should be there too. Make sure you're across all the social media platforms relevant to your audience and the topics you plan to discuss across your social media platforms. Once you're there, make sure you have a consistent handle and bio. Your bio should really say what kind of expertise you offer and link to any books or PDFs that you offer. If you want to be a political commentator on television, make sure you also have on-camera clips. Speak to the camera, give your opinion, and lean into the news. How to leverage social media content to attract the press. Tip number 2. Compelling content can mean a lot of things. You're going to want your videos, your posts, your carousels, your quotes, your blogs. You're going to want it all and mix it up. But in order to create compelling content, you need to know what your pillars are. We can talk about that in another episode, but identify what makes you important and valuable to your audience within your niche, as well as to the broader audience who reads the news. Lean into the news. Start to figure out what the news is talking about and create compelling content around that. Once you start doing that and using relatable hashtags, you may just start finding yourself being reached out to by the press. Putting yourself out there, sharing opinions on main social media accounts is key. Remember tip number 1, be consistent wherever you are. That also has to do with the look and feel of your compelling content. So keep that in mind. For more tips, visit our website oncamready.com and find me on Instagram at oncamready. I'm also on TikTok. See you over there. How to leverage social media to attract the press. Tip number 3. Engage with your audience. There are many ways to engage online. You can post something and then reply to everyone who's commented. But here's the thing that some people don't realize about engagement. Anyone who engages on your post, you should engage with. I know it's a lot more work, but I'm telling you now, it will help. Even if someone who's be a bot is replying to your post, you should reply to that comment on your post because it adds to the engagement that the algorithm sees. And if you only have 5 people like your post, DM them, thank them for engaging on your post. I'm telling you now, this will help you start relationships online, even with people you don't know. And that will give you practice because you really need to start building relationships with people in the media so that when you do post something newsworthy, you're kind of already on their radar. How to do that? Look up people who are writing articles, check out their bylines, that's their name associated with the article, find out who's producing television shows, TV news, and connect with them. Follow them online and engage on their posts. They have an interesting article, weigh in, reply to their post with a comment. Tag a colleague, ask them a question. Say, hey, you see this article? What do you think? Be what you want others to be for you. Or what's the saying? Do unto others as you want them to do unto you. So if you want engagement, give engagement. Engagement is key, guys. So get engaging. Find me online at oncamready.com. And if you're enjoying this content, be sure to subscribe to this channel. How to leverage social media to attract the press. Tip number 4. SEO is important, but you should still use hashtags. Don't forget it. So what do we mean by SEO? You really want to make sure that your description, your videos, your posts all contain relevant terms. I highly recommend searching what's trending and looking up different topics, again, related to the news, to see what people are talking about. Weaving those phrases or words into your descriptions and videos is going to help you get recognized on any of the social media platforms. It's also great to know what people are talking about on LinkedIn and weighing in there as well. LinkedIn is one of those places that not many people think about, and it's one that SEO is all you need. When you're writing on LinkedIn, you don't even really need hashtags because everyone is searching by words and phrases and your posts come up. If you find Twitter and Instagram are just too much, I suggest starting on LinkedIn. How to leverage social media to attract the press. Tip number 5, engage with journalists and relevant influencers. Here's how you go about it. Research, read the news. Who are the reporters writing relevant articles to your industry and niche? Who are columnists that you agree with or disagree with? And who are the influencers online already putting themselves out there that you would love to maybe collaborate with or get to know better? Follow them and engage with their posts. And when I'm saying engage on their posts or engage with their posts, I'm saying if any of these reporters or TV journalists post something that you can weigh in on with your expertise, you should comment on the posts. If the New York Times reporter has an article out and the New York Times shares it and you feel so passionate about what this journalist wrote, weigh in on that article online. If it's on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, wherever, that is where you should be and engaging. You also may want to tag reporters in posts and say, hey, I saw this article and thought of you. Or try to get to know them more and start posting content and sending it to them that you think might be worth their time. If I were covering a specific beat and someone saw an article and thought of me, or saw a source or a story that they thought I might find interesting, I would really kind of like them and want to start a friendship with them, like an online friendship. Like, hey, let's help each other out. Let's get to know each other. Maybe you could be a good source down the road. But that's just me. Anyway, that's what I suggest. I highly recommend you start engaging and finding out who the relevant reporters and influencers are in your industry. You could just start by simply following them. Just go about it slow. Don't start pitching until you're ready. How to leverage social media to attract the press. Tip number 6, share media mentions. If you're mentioned in the media, make sure you share it across all your social media platforms, your newsletter, on your blog, whatever. Make sure it's out there. And when you post it, don't just say, hey, check out this link. You really need to provide people with more. You're lucky if people actually click on that link or watch that video clip you're sharing. Most people don't take that extra step. So you really need to break things down for them. I suggest providing behind the scenes content, photos and videos before and after a TV interview. Or if it's a print interview, maybe share what it was like to be interviewed. And then when the article is out, pull quotes from it for your content and for your story. I actually really think it's a smart idea to be reading your quotes. So if you're in an article, I would highly recommend going to your story or creating a reel where you're reading the part of the article that mentions you and your quotes, and then you add more to it. Those on social are not going to really take that extra step to watch a 5-minute video clip. The press might, they might, but you really want to have engagement with your followers on social media, because the point is you want them to know what your expertise is so that you can start to build your following, gain more legitimate media articles, or TV appearances, and you really want to make sure that everyone knows what you really have to offer. If you're just posting a link, no one takes that next step. All they know is that you were quoted in an article. What they don't know is who you really are and what you have to say. So that's my thoughts. How to leverage social media content to really attract the press takes more than these tips. So be sure to consume all the tips and follow along for more on YouTube at OnCamReady. Here's tip number 7, content. Use visuals effectively. If you have an infographic that's really relevant to your industry, you should share it, post it. Start to learn the green screen techniques and all those tips and tricks that all the social media managers are offering. I may offer some too, but for right now, I really want to focus on the value. The value is so important. You can't really be posting to post. If you want to be an expert quoted in articles and appear on television, you really need to be strategic about your social media. So make sure you use visuals effectively. If you're talking about a newspaper headline, make sure to show the headline overhead. If you have an infographic, maybe have it appear in front of you or make a carousel out of it. As I mentioned, compelling content is key. So make sure you're using your visuals effectively. Lean into the news, and I guarantee you will find so many ideas to help you provide value online. How to leverage social media content to attract the press. Tip number 8. Host lives, collaborative lives, and virtual events. That sounded very robotic. Let me say that again. Host live events across your social media platforms. Collaborate with other content creators in your genre or in your niche that either agree with what you have to say or don't, and host live events together. Consider hosting webinars. Just really think about ways to providing live content. By showcasing what you can offer live across your social media platforms, you're also indicating that you're ready for a live TV show appearance. So, when you host these events, make sure you invite relevant media personalities and reporters that are in your niche. I would also highly recommend you mention reporters, publications, and influencers in your niche and then tag them to the live event afterwards so that you can kind of highlight them, say, oh, I mentioned these people. These are some of my suggested reporters you follow, publications I love. That shows them that, hey, this person is open to engaging and collaborating, and let me check out their live event. They may not listen, they may not look, and they may not like. But by doing this, you create a habit of sharing the resources and media personalities you enjoy. And maybe, just maybe, they'll start to take notice. Find me online at oncamready.com and be sure to subscribe to this channel if you like what you're seeing. Social media to attract the press. Tip number 9. Monitor trends. Guys, I keep saying this over and over again, but I really do believe you need to be leaning into the news, know what people are talking about, and really capitalizing on that. By monitoring trends and staying informed with what's happening within your industry, you will start to come to the realization that you have a lot more value to offer than you initially think. Knowing industry trends shows that you are a valuable resource. I know I've mentioned this before, but trends are important. You can look up trends on social media platforms to see what people are talking about and see if you have the expertise relevant to weigh in on those stories. If you do, you should. I've been working in TV news for 20 years, and we have always leaned into the news, obviously, and trends. For more, visit oncamready.com. And now for tip number 10. Write a compelling bio. Make sure your bio reflects the expertise that you want everyone to know you have. And make sure your posts support the expertise you want the media to see you can offer. For more tips, visit oncamready.com and follow OnCamReady on Instagram. And if you're watching on YouTube, I hope you'll subscribe and like this video. More are on the way. I have just got to get my set put together a little bit better so that I can offer you high quality content every time. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you